I'm gonna go ride. So I'd have to say this is Colorado's newest track, Lakeview Motorsports, roughly around Pueblo, Colorado. These guys have been hit hard, and they put a lot of work into this facility. It's just a bummer. Nobody could predict that COVID-19 was going to force everybody to shut down, and they've done an extremely good job with this track, with what they have to work with. They've got a lot of nice equipment out here to make it better, too, so I can only see this place going up from here. They were supposed to have an off-road corks race and then also a vintage race, which is imperative to their survival and able to make money, because I don't know if you guys realize, though, working on motocross tracks, just moving dirt in general, is hard. It takes a lot of dirt to build just this little tabletop right here. I would say, gosh, 40 buckets of dirt probably to get that sucker to be that big. And I'm going to encourage everybody that is watching this video that lives close to Colorado to check this track out. It is a really, really good track. I mean, yeah, there's a couple things that I will go over that I've talked to the owners that they're considering changing. But in all honesty, this is a fun, flowy track that beginner to advanced riders can have fun just riding, let alone racing. I was being a little over dramatic. I didn't, I've got a little knock in my wheel, but no spokes or anything. But I will just continue talking about this new track. I will actually put a timer at the bottom of it, so if you guys come out here, you could try to beat my lap times. I don't know, I'm not gonna pick my fastest lap. I have 60 minutes worth of GoPro footage because I did a couple 25-minute motos. So you guys just race with me. If you're ever out there, see if you can beat me. The dirt is a little silty. You can see it's a little marbly right here. They did an amazing job watering it. They continued to water when there was only like 4 or 5 of us out there, which I thought was superb. But because this track gives at least the perception that this used to be a old lake bed, the dirt seems to move around a little bit, so it gives you this sort of false sense of feeling that you're sticking there. So there's a lot of throttle control finesse with how fast this track is. Don't get me wrong, I love going fast. I actually, again, really, really enjoy this track. It brought back memories of Supermoto. I only Supermotoed for, gosh, I've only done it 3, 4, maybe 5 times. But what I learned from Supermoto is you don't really touch your brakes. You try to create everything in a big inside, outside, no stop, go, 90-degree corners. It was very flowy, and that's what this track reminded me of, because I really wasn't hitting my brakes, but for a couple sections, like this right-hander coming up, the majority of the track, I would just let off and be in a higher gear and have half throttle. And my Polar was saying that I was doing 55 around the track, which I honestly thought I was going a little bit faster because of how fast the track seems to be. I started off the day actually on traction control because I wanted to see, all right, my back end feels as if it's scooting around a little bit. maybe that'll help. But you can see on my handlebars, I'm actually on the more aggressive map 2 that I ended up sticking with all day with, because it gave you this false sense. Like I said, there's usually this sort of sand silt in the corners that would hold you there as long as you weren't super aggressive on the throttle, which in my book makes you a better rider. So I'm coming up here, 2 minutes have gone by. I'm gonna make 215, 220. So 212, we'll see if my next lap is any faster. So just because of the conditions where it was so fast and there wasn't that many riders out there, I honestly felt as if I felt more comfortable sitting down and coasting around a good portion of the track. And because of that, I felt like I could ride forever. The track flowed really well. Like I said, I was sitting down, coasting a lot. I was having to have some good throttle control, so there weren't any big spurts. So my heart rate wasn't really that high. My max was 185, averaging 171. I've always been a slow starter. My fastest laps are usually end of the moto, middle of the moto, never the beginning of the moto. Hence why qualifying was so difficult for me. And it's just sort of the way I've always ridden a motorcycle. I was never the Adam Cincerillo, fastest guy on the track, no matter what type of a riding style. With that being said, when they decide to race and they have multiple, couple hundred bikes, hopefully 400, 500, maybe even 600 bikes on this track in a weekend, race day and practice day, we will get a lot more ruts, a lot more bumps, which will obviously change the way you're going to ride this track as well. But I do think you guys should check this track out. It is fun, it's flowy, they're doing a great job. The couple things that I say that I would like to change would be that scrub jump. I would like it to be 3 times as long, so it's not so peaky that you could jump off, and if you had big balls, double over it, which it would be slower to do that, but it would look freaking cool. Alright, I don't know if I'm ahead or not. 201 right now. I was 212 before. Gonna go. It's gonna be close. I think I might actually be slower. Well, no shit. I was actually faster that lap time. Alright, so if you go out to this track, you guys gotta be 210 and a half. So back to just the couple things that I would change. It would be that scrub jump. I think you need to make it sort of a giant whoop where you have twice as much on the front of it so that you can scrub off the bottom of it, move over the top of it, and then you have a decent landing so you're not in the bottom of the hole. That's a preference. I don't know if many riders would care. And then the finish line, I felt like the finish line just needed to have a little bit, be drug out more and have a taller lip to it so it didn't compress the suspension as much. But the things I do like about this track is how well it flows. I like these sand corners, and I like the singles. The singles I thought were really fun, coming out of a hole, jumping out. That we don't have a whole lot of here in Colorado, which is silly. You think that should be sort of a part of every motocross track. And for those of you that are new to my channel and are just interested, I've got a 2020 and a half Rockstar Edition FC 450, and I'm geared at a 1348. And around this track, I'm literally 3rd gear in most of my corners, 4th gear pretty much everywhere else, and I'm quarter throttle, half throttle. I don't really know if I was ever really full throttle anywhere. Thank God I'm not riding a 500. If I break on my bike, I'm thinking my hand goes up. It's fast. It'll definitely be way different once you start getting some bumps and a little bit of ruts on it. But man, this dirt feels kind of like silty, where it's kind of powdery on top, and it's probably just because we have like had zero moisture. But I love the way you guys are kind of constantly watering for us few folk out here.
Dude, you know, we don't care. We really don't care. I mean,
the only thing I would say is that finish line.
Okay.
The way I was taught to build jumps is it's always got to be a 1 to 2, which means if your lip is 5 feet tall, you need to at least have 10 feet for the run up.
Okay.
And that one feels not quite that ratio, to where when I'm coming up to it, I feel like I have to let off and kind of prepare, because my whole front forks and rear shock are slamming into it, and then it's popping me up.
Okay.
So if you guys built that up maybe 5 feet and then drug it out, you know, 15 feet, it would be much more smoother. And you could scrub off of it a little bit.
Build it flatter.
Yeah, but then if you don't build it taller, then you're just going to be hauling ass off of it. If you want people to kind of still have it be a little bit poppier, then you need to, like I said, that 1 to 2 ratio. So if you're going to have a 10-foot lip, you need 20 feet run up to it. That would be the only thing.
Let's see, we're getting more sand. We're supposed to have sand this week. We didn't get sand. So we'll mix in sand and everything. Hold that up, you know, keep going.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and please help out this small business. It's an awesome track. I know I will definitely be back. Maybe I will see you out there, and I will put the link in the description to their Facebook and the directions so that you guys can check out this awesome facility. Till next time, this is Johnny Hopper. Boo!
I don't know, then you're just going to have slimy powder on top.
I don't know, but like I said, the track is very flat tracky because of how fast it is. It'd make a really good corks track, because you have to, I'm not braking much. I'm coasting into my corners, because braking, the corners are too big and too long to where braking just slows you down. If you guys are trying to slow down, just let off the gas. I'm around the track mainly in 4th gear. The sand berms I'll shift down to 3rd and just kind of lug and try to maybe stay a little bit 2-3 inches from the berm to try to not be such and such deep powder. And
yeah, I kind of like the big rollers.
Yeah, the big rollers are fun. It's just really fast. So a track like this is going to be hard because you don't have that much elevation, and it's going to be hard to keep the dust down. But I'm really pumped with it. It's always nice to have a new track. So I'm happy with it. I'm not even on traction control or anything. I'm just higher gear and just letting off like the big. After this tabletop, the next tabletop, I'm just in 4th gear, and then once I get to that corner, I'm just letting off, and then getting back on the gas. And then a lot of these outside corners, it's way too far. Some of them you have to kind of go, but I feel you could sort of road race to the inside on these corners.
Yeah, like cut a bunch of it out and then fucking
where these corners are these huge 90s, and people are just following the outside sandy berm all the way, when you really should just kind of go inside, maybe touch it just a little bit, and then come back to the inside.
Like cut the first 3/4 of it out and then just bounce off a little piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, where's Paula?
So they, Levi was saying they built this like a couple weeks ago, a month ago or something.
Dad.
Oh, how'd you do that? You chewed through that, you son of a gun.
She did.
Come here, Daisy.
Well, let's just tie it to her. Oh fuck, it's gone now because it's in there.
You don't have no cable either.
I've got 2 cables here. What the fuck, noobs? Where's your cable? You're tied around my exhaust pipe too. That's a expensive exhaust pipe, mister. Oh.